I know disclaimers are no fun, but we have to have these because every time we do one of these videos, people keep telling me I'm wrong. And I'm like, it's not my opinion, it's math. I'm just making a tier list based on the win rate. And it's like, the win rate's wrong. It's like, that's not how math works. That's not how math works. So, first disclaimer, there's a common misconception that some units have a 90% plus win rate, or some players too. Unless you're like the top 4, your win rate isn't that crazy. So this is not accurate. For every win, there must be a corresponding loss. 50% is an average win rate. This is not my opinion. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is based on match data provided by SW Arena, Relisora. I will add my opinion verbally, but this is based on math, not my personal opinion with any specific unit. Because you know, if it was on here, Han would be like #1 triple S tier, Jameer triple S tier. It's like, big, okay, we get that you are simple-minded. And only says units. Data takes into account the top 50 most picked units. It's not every unit in the game. It's the top 50 most picked units. That's how they tabulate all of this stuff. It does not take into account units that have only been picked 20 to 30 times. Oh, you can't even see because I have, yeah. Okay, so it doesn't take into units that have only been picked 20, 30 times in the season. Only the 50 most picked units. The Shadowcasters are not in here just yet. We'll see as time progresses, as more people get them, as they get picked more. We'll see how that impacts the meta. The wind one's not really impacting the meta much at all. The fire one, a lot of people have been picking, but not everyone has him, so he has not made it to this list. You should not pick and ban only. This is very important for people that are casual, just getting into RTA, because there are new and returning players that are just getting into RTA. And I think that they're going to have this misconception like, oh, it's at the top of the tier list, I should always pick it. A lot of times that is the case where you can just get away with always picking these units, but some units have a high win rate based on them being good in certain situations. However, in other situations, they're not so good. So it's not that you should pick and ban only based on the tier list. Sometimes the best unit for the job is low on the tier list, and your opponent may just have a very strong draft, and that's why it loses regardless. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes the right unit is at the low of the tier list, at the bottom of the tier list. So we have the tier list, and then we also have some information on the bans. So at the very top, this is what was mind-blowing to me, is you see one unit that sticks. Actually, the Ragdoll is kind of interesting to see him at a 53% plus win rate, because he's usually not that high on the tier list. Where is the I have the data over here. So Ragdoll has Lima's got a 54.65% win rate. That is pretty high. Ragdoll has a 53.09% win rate, which, I mean, is like 53+%. It's shocking to see him here, because for the last couple seasons, he and Artemiel have kind of not been as well. Ragdoll's still more effective than Artemiel. Artemiel's kind of not been much of anywhere. Some bruiser teams, but really, Artemiel definitely took a dive in his usability, because there's just so much things that just do pure damage. There's additional damage artifacts. There's things that don't even crit. There's the Onimushas, right? You just pick a whole bunch of Onimushas and you don't have to worry about Artemiel at all. You can pick Mo Long, you can pick Ciara, but she's still gonna crit with her skill 3. Those are just some reasons that Artemiel is not, something like that is not on this list, where it used to be super high on the list. Ragdoll, kind of the same situation, but Ragdoll's still getting picked a decent amount. Still winning a decent amount. I'm just a little surprised, because for the past couple seasons, he was definitely lower. He was lower than the Light Beast Rider, Gianna, Tian Lang. Like, those units were much higher. And Ragdoll's apparently been doing really great this season. It's crazy to see. Bulwark, though. I know everyone's like, hey, you talk about the Ragdoll. He's an LD5. Bulwark is there at a 53% win rate. So Bulwark has a 53.11% win rate. Crazy. He also has a very high ban rate. At first I was like, I can't believe that Bulwark is up at like this high of a tier, like with the same win rate as some of these crazy OP LDs. However, things like Riley, and then some of the other buffers, but also not only Riley, but he was buffed himself, where he stacks himself now. Because one of the counters to Bulwark was just like, oh, I'm not gonna stack anything, but he's just stacking himself now. The light one is stacking, the light lightning emperor is stacking himself now. The rest of these are fairly similar to what we've been seeing. Light monkey has been OP. Nana has been OP. Lima, the more people use her and start appreciating her, the more it shows that she's actually been really good. Gianna, Tianlang, Narsha, is crazy to see them over here. Yunhong has always been great. Oliver's always been great. Like, these are no surprise. Some of these speed-based units and also the counter to speed-based units have been doing really well this season. We'll see as the season progresses. It's only a couple weeks into the season so far, but I just thought I would give you guys this update because I was looking at it, I was like, Bolverk has been doing this good so far. Mathematically, with his buff, he's been doing really good. I'm going to show you guys the top 10 most banned units, just in case you're curious about that. I'm talking way too much for a tier list. It's very clear. You can see what's in front of it. I just want to mention a couple things that stand out, like the Water Monkey. Water Monkey was buffed not too long ago. He is a great counter to the Fire Ryu. Also, the Fire... Why is one Ryu and one a Striker? I don't know, and I'm the one that made this list. So I'm not sure why that's... why did I do that? I don't think I noticed that I even did that. So he has been a great counter to the the Fire Ryu and the Fire Striker. Then we have the Wind Demon, who's a great counter to Nana, who's been picked quite a lot. We have the Josephine, which people are... Josephine's never stopped being picked, but people kind of forgot about how good she is, and then people have been picking her again lately. I don't think anyone that did Siege forgot how good she is. I think the people that do Siege on a regular basis and are try-hard Siege players, they've always known how good Josephine is, so I'm sure they were just picking her the entire time. Shogun used to be the poster. He used to be all the way up here. You remember that? You remember the season where Shogun and Moore and Shungpung were like all the way there, like all at the top. Oh, good times, man. And then he got nerfed, right? He got nerfed for the scroll trap and also the speed buff. So, Molong, Bast, CR, Vertiheal, all that stuff is pretty common over here. I think Riley, man. Personally, if this was my tier list, if I just made a tier list based on my opinion and nothing else, Ragdoll wouldn't be up here. Bolverk wouldn't be up here. Riley would be at like the 7S tier. Oh my... Riley is just such a pain to deal with. She's a free-to-play unit. She's such a pain to deal with. Riley Tessarion is such a great combination, too. I think that if you are a free-to-play player, if you don't have a lot of crazy Nat 5, I mean, at this point, like, it feels like everyone has a lot of crazy Nat 5s, but you don't even need some crazy stuff. Riley Tessarion is such a very strong combo in itself. I think a lot of people don't realize how good that combo is. Because you got the support, you got the attack power buff, the cleanse, and then Tessarion deals with half the units on here have passives. So he already counters half the units on this entire list. But, and then we see the Hey Gang over here. We see some of the other things. So the Hey Gang actually was... Well, we don't need to talk about all the rest of that stuff. I just wanted to show you guys this list. And then the top 10 most banned units for this season so far are Leo. Surprise, surprise. Leo's always very high on the list. Leo, Tianlang, they're always... Tianlang is number 4. So Leo, 43.31% ban rate. Douglas, 37.68% ban rate. People gonna realize soon enough that... I mean, some people already know, but a lot of people are gonna realize soon enough that you could just take... Not only Water Monkey, Josephine is a great counter. This is something that I personally learned the other day, is Josephine is a great counter to Douglas. Josephine skill 1. Great counter Douglas. It blew my mind. I was like... This is just something I didn't think of until I actually saw it, and I was like, wow, okay. Wouldn't have thought of that. Wouldn't have thought of that, but it works really well. Mephisto, 35.12% ban rate. When Nana is so prevalent on the field, Tianlang bans like half the units. Anything that does attack age increase. Any of the oracles, we see all the oracles over there. Any of the oracles. Tessarion counters half the units on the... Tessarion, he's a free-to-play unit. All you have to do is get in a free scroll, free-to-play unit. One of the highest banned units, and also he counters half the things on the list. All the things that have passives, he counters. Bolverk. Bolverk has just been... It seems like an insignificant buff, just like he stacks himself a little bit. It's not even full stacks, it's just a little bit. But he's still such a high win rate, such a high ban rate. Been very effective. I don't have a Bolverk. Feels bad, man. Nepthys is Nepthys, LD5's not shocking. Triton has got super crazy fast base speed. When it's a speed war and it's two people that both have speed leads that have swift units, they're like, ban the fastest base speed, hope you outspeed. That's why this is a no-brainer why he's... Oh, you guys can't see that. But yeah, it's a no-brainer why. Let me take all this stuff off so you guys can see very clearly. So, no-brainer. There, Oliver is extremely toxic. Hey Gang just counters some things so well. So some of these things are just such great counters. Like we're seeing a lot of the stuff is just counters to a lot of different comps that people like to run. So anyway, that's it for this one. Just thought you guys would be curious to see this. I was very curious on the Bulwark, and then I realized I'm like, we haven't done one of these in a little bit. So anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you as always in the next one.